Fantastic. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, man.
Forensic, you're muted.
All right, guys, this is just the plywood show. Let's run through these brackets. By the way, you are still not coming through on the broadcast. They can't hear you. I can hear you. I can hear Forensic totally fine. It's like a weird channel going on right now. Welcome to the Plywood Show. Metal Gear Plywood Runners. I hear you fine. Let's see. Hmm. Well, how about this? I'll let you figure this out and I'll run through the tournament bracket. How about that? Okay. So far this tournament, it's been a really pretty fun tournament so far. We've had two matches. Yeah, two matches. Is going to be the third. We've had Sylvaned versus Kineapples. Kineapples had a pretty tremendous win over Sylvaned. To be fair to Sylvaned, he hasn't done a lot of all bosses. Is more into large skip. So coming up tomorrow, as Forensic said, Raichu versus Kineapples. And then yesterday we had Tyler 2022 versus Tromboncino, which was a much closer race than I thought it was going to be. And Tyler put up a really, really good fight against someone who's one of the best runners in this game, Tromboncino, both PC and console. So Tromboncino enters the semifinals, and we'll see what happens with the Raichu Kineapples race. It's going to be an interesting one. But today, we have the last round one competition, Drixq and Toma. Drixq was actually not supposed to be running in the tournament originally, but filled in after we had someone else fall out. And we really appreciate Drixq for doing that, of course. And this could actually go either way, I think. Toma definitely has the edge. Toma's been a very studious player in this game. But Drixq is no pushover either. Drixq is a very talented Metal Gear runner himself. A bit more, I'd say, famous in the community for Metal Gear Solid 2, but he's come up with some strats for MGS1 and definitely knows what he's doing with this game. I've never actually seen him run this game in one setting, so this is really going to be interesting for me, how this is going to turn out. I don't know if I am willing to put money on this race. I actually think this could go either way. Not that we're going to be making bets, but
you guys should be able to hear me now.
Yeah, let's see.
I can see the bar moving on OBS. So a little bit of technical difficulties.
It's okay.
Plywood, as he said, he could hear me, but it wasn't going through on OBS. A quick restart of the mic. But yeah, as he was saying, Drixq is probably just a little bit out of practice. So we were going to set a line, and hopefully you guys can play along with us. I think that Toma's got a minute and a half advantage. So we're going with an over-under. What do you take, Plywood?
I think, I'm going to root for the underdog here. I think this might be a really close race. I'm going to say Drixq for 30. I have a feeling Drixq is going to impress us today. Even though he might be
will cover the spread, or is he gonna win this race?
He's gonna win this race by a small margin.
Okay, I will say that he will cover the spread. It'll be less than a minute and a half, but I do believe Toma's gonna win this one, as he's probably got a little bit more practice in.
I certainly agree with you that Toma is the favorite for this race. Drixq is a bit of the black horse of this tournament, I would say, because I've never seen Drixq run this. I know he's run this game in the past and he's implemented some strategies in this game, but seeing Drixq run easy, it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited, and to do it with my pal Forensic over here, not just the Plywood Show.
Yeah, we're certainly looking forward to this. We're on our third layout and our third day. And the last 2 days, I've been joined by Toma, who's a very good co-commentator. I've spent some time on Plywood's stream, and he's spent some time on mine. So I think this should go pretty well. Now, if you were Drixq and you're a little bit out of practice, and easy is not exactly your strongest category, what would you do?
Well, I think the key thing is just understanding the differences between easy and extreme. That's like the main aspect of it, because from my understanding, Drixq has done a lot of extreme, and easy is really a different beast. Of course, bosses do less damage, but bosses do take more damage on the other hand. So missing shots can actually be very costly and easy, especially with the Gray Fox fight. So understanding how all the bosses change in terms of your approach, doing damage boosting by using rations, things like that, those are the things that are being really important when making that transition from extreme to easy. And I think that is going to be the big determining factor for Drixq, if he can make that smooth transition. And we'll see. He might have some interesting strats up his sleeve. Toma is very comfortable with this game, but that could work against him as well. Just
right. I was going to ask you, what do you think Toma's going to do? Should Toma use some safer strats here, make sure that he just gets the win and moves to the next round, or do you think he's just going to be business as usual?
Yeah, I think it should be take a safe, comfortable approach to this one. Don't do anything too out of the ordinary. And I think that is probably what Toma's going to do. This, if we're talking about favorites here, Toma is the favorite. So trying to keep an even approach, keeping cool as cucumber, as they would say, might be the thing that'll give him the edge. So.
And one more thing before we go live to the race. Are they both going to get the infinite punch?
No. It's my prediction. No.
Okay, so one or nobody gets it.
I think nobody's gonna. That's just my guess.
Okay. I'll go with one then. You're saying nobody's gonna get it. I'm going with one. One of these guys is gonna get the infinite today. All right, let's go to the layout, and somebody could let the racers know we're ready to go.
All right, let them know in their chats that we're ready to go.
It looks like both these guys are playing on the integral version of the game.
Yep, Drixq is running on PS3, and Toma's playing on PS2 with standard disk speed. There is some amount of difference between running on Drixq and the PS3 version. PS3 is going to be a bit slower, but it's going to be a fair bit more even compared to fastest speed PS3. So people have asked, well, is the version difference fair? No, it can't be like completely even. This is true, but it's close enough that that should not be the determining factor.
Right, we've got 10 participants in this tournament, and getting everybody to agree on one console and one version of the game is pretty difficult, so we're doing the best with what we have here.
Absolutely. But yeah, to answer a question from chat, what can go wrong on easy? Quite a bit can go wrong. For instance, the ninja fight. You do the ninja fight. If you don't play the end part well in easy, you'll get extra dialogue, and that can cost you about 15 seconds. Just for one instance. Or in the hind fight, if you can't do the hind fight stunlock loop, you lose a lot of time on easy because he flies low for a very long time on easy compared to extreme, at least in my experience. On the higher difficulties, he comes up more quickly. So mistakes like that can be very costly. It's not just a matter of, oh, it's easy mode. Well, that's true, but easy is kind of misleading sometimes in speedrunning. Certain aspects of it might be easier, but in reality, optimization could be harder in certain respects. It looks like we're off in the docks.
Yep, we're on our way. There was a little bit of a technical difficulty there with Drix's stream. I just had to restart it. It does look like they're just about at the same portion of the game. Of course, it's worth mentioning that there is a little bit of a delay coming back from each one of these guys, and their delay may not be perfectly even. So the clock that you guys see on screen is technically unofficial. These guys are going to be racing in speedruns live, so that is their official race clock if this one is close, and we do expect it to be pretty close.
Absolutely. You know, the funny thing about racing this game is that the beginning is just very relaxed. There's not a whole lot to worry about here. I see that Toma's practicing his punches, kicks. Drixq is just chilling in the corner.
Now on easy, they can go for rations here, but these guys probably don't expect to make a lot of mistakes during this race, right?
Yeah, and once you get to the cell before the guard encounter with Meryl, you get a ration in the cell with the DARPA chief. So what you tend to do is pick up the ration by the forklift in the dock, pick up one in the cell, and then during the guard encounter, the guards do drop ration, so you get it filled up real quick. It's like we're both on the elevator.
His way up the elevator.
Nice.
Not a lot they can really mess up down there, is there?
Yeah, if you understand how the dock works, there isn't too much to worry about. The biggest thing is if you're doing that knock strat, which both of them did, is knowing when to knock and making sure that you alter the right guard's path, either by killing him or delaying his path by distracting him with a knock. Both competitors did. So the dock is not a whole... It's one of the easiest places to optimize in the thankfully. The docks are both a gift and a curse. They're pretty boring, but at the same time, that's 2 minutes you don't need to worry about with this run. And the less you have to worry about, the better, even on E.
Now, going into helipad, both the runners are expected to run straight in under the spotlight. But the route that they take towards that vent is pretty specific, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to be careful when you're approaching this guard by the vent. And it looks like Drixq, nicely done. He avoided getting shot by that vent guard. Which is a nice little time save compared to Toma. But yeah, you can take different lines approaching the guard. Personally, I'm not sure what might be the fastest approach for easy. I almost think that maybe just running at a beeline, taking the damage, just going for the throw might be the best approach. I haven't really timed this stuff out. There's still a lot of possibilities. Even after nearly 20 years, there's still plenty of questions, especially when it comes to the other difficulties, like what is the best approach? What really saves you the most time? Because
yeah,
that's one of
you can see those life bars. It does look like Toma took a little bit of a damage boost there, which gave Drixq the edge going into the vent.
Absolutely. And I think Forensic's familiar with this with MGS2. One of the really cool things about running Metal Gear games, the Metal Gear Solid games, is just the number of approaches you can take to every room.
Really what makes the game special is there's no one way to get through it.
Definitely. And they both use the chaff strap, but Toma messed it up. I think he might have threw it a little bit too high up. He either cooked it a little bit too early or threw it a little bit off, and fortunately that cost him an alert and a over. So Drixq already going in with a lead, going to the cell fight. But that may not determine the race. You know, things can go wrong later for Drixq. We'll see what happens.
Now this guard encounter on easy is pretty straightforward. It's just point and shoot. But you're going to want to leave this guard encounter with a certain amount of bullets. How many bullets is that?
You want to try to at least have 3 bullets. At least 3 bullets. You could probably get by with... You could get by with 2. But you really want to have, like, 3. And the reason for that is to get a good Ocelot fight, you need to initiate the loop on him, and to do that, you want to make sure you have ammo going into the fight. Otherwise, you're going to have to go into the armory and pick up an extra pack. Each of these guards take 3 shots on easy. So it's a matter of spamming your shots quickly, but also not overly spamming bullets. It's a bit of a balancing act.
So they're obviously going to be trying to pick up an ammo box for this before the end of guard encounter, so they can go into the Ocelot fight with enough ammo to finish off him in one loop.
Exactly. The approach you want to take, because each wave drops an ammo pack besides the last one and the first one. So you should be able to increase your ammo count throughout the guard encounter, have enough, then pick up a pack during the Ocelot fight. That's the ideal situation. And you can see Drixq using the corner strat, sitting in the corner and just plowing into the guards as they come in one after the other. Looks like he's going to end this fight with a decent ammo count, Drixq. A nice pile on there, 7 bullets, plenty to go, plenty to go. So I have a question for you, Forensic. You've been watching a fair bit of MGS1 the past few days.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So how are you feeling about this game from watching it just over and over again? I know you've watched others run this game just on their streams or whatever, but how do you feel since you've been here the whole time, watched every match?
Right, I did the last 2 matches with Toma, and I learned it. I didn't think it was going to happen this way, but I ended up learning a ton about the game. What his depth of knowledge, and especially on this category, the way he explains things was incredibly clear. I didn't really know exactly that there was any sort of strat back there in guard encounter involving leaving with the right amount of ammo. And we noticed Tromboncino left with about 6 bullets yesterday. And although that wasn't a run-ending deal, he ended up picking up a ammo box in the upper left-hand corner of that fight, which looked like a pretty tricky move to pull off.
Looks like Drixq had a pretty successful Ocelot fight. Not a whole lot going wrong. That fight should look pretty typical. Not a whole lot going wrong there in terms of just looping him in the top area. On easy, he should never run on easy, because the whole thing is that as the difficulties go up, Ocelot takes more bullets to take out. And Toma going for a more safe approach with hanging on the edge of the pillar. So doing the loop over here on the right side. And a pretty clean Ocelot, a little bit slower than Drixq's, but still nothing too shabby. You never want Ocelot running away from you on easy, or any difficulty for that matter. But on easy, he does move the slowest. On extreme, he is an Olympic sprinter, even in those cowboy boots.
I'm sure Toma is hoping that Drixq has a rough tank coming up here.
I saw Drixq when Drixq was practicing. He was doing the new approach for the tank, which Tromboncino gave to the Discord, and actually very similar to the Twin Snake's approach to the tank on normal, interestingly enough, using the right hill and then approaching the tank that way. Taking the nice line in the canyon as well to swiftly avoid the claymores. And here's this hill strat on the right. Successfully done. Avoided the tank round. Very good. Coming up, throwing the nade, and a nice dunk. It should be easy to approach now. He actually uses the FPV lineup to sink the second grenade in. It's kind of personal preference whether you lined it up in third person or first person. But a nice, no frills tank Drixq. How Toma can do as well.
Sure, that's a bit of a relief for Drixq.
Absolutely. You know, I've had races where I've messed up the tank, and it's a confidence killer. It's an absolute confidence killer, because chasing the tank is easier said than done. You really don't want to do it, and often with the top runners in this game, if that ever happens, it's just a straight up reset.
Yep, looks like Toma makes his way out of tank as well.
Good. So the lead, Drixq has a decent lead. It's about 40 seconds or so, 30 seconds. But these middle bosses make a big push in either direction. And that's because you can lose or save a lot of time on Ninja, Mantis, and Wolf 1, depending on how they go down, along with all the intermediate rooms between them.
So far, Drixq is not showing much rust at all, but if I know Drixq, he's probably been up all night practicing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was watching his stream earlier. I saw that he had a bunch of easy. Well, if you make saves like that, I can imagine you probably use them.
Worth mentioning, Drixq was not originally registered for this tournament. He's a fill-in.
Yeah, we really appreciate that Drixq filled in, and it's a joy to see Drixq play. I don't get to see Drixq run all that often, and seeing him run MGS1 is awesome for me. Is it worth doing weapons glitch on Wolf 1? It is, if you're on hard and extreme, you could take that approach, but on easy, not really. Drixq goes for the FAMAS pickup in the gassed out hallway. Something I didn't learn about until not when I started running this game. I had no idea that the FAMAS spawned there. I always picked it up in the armory, and it's a huge time save picking it up here. It's a really interesting aspect of this game that there are multiple spawn points for items and weapons. We utilize that in the speedrun for both the SOCOM and the FAMAS.
Drixq makes his way into the fight with the ninja. Is there anything you can do to save time while fighting the ninja?
A lot of the time save for ninja comes in the final phase of the fight. The final part where he's walking towards you, teleporting and punching. You can do some pretty fancy footwork there by timing your punches at the right time to do extra damage. I still have trouble quite understanding how it works, but if you have enough distance between you and the ninja, you start your combo at a certain time, he'll teleport behind you but not hit you, and you can do extra damage. And the big thing on easy is trying to do is not missing any hits as much as possible at the very end of the fight, because if you miss a punch or a kick, it's quite likely that you're going to get extra dialogue. And that's a very long line. It's like a 10-second long line that you can skip on easy. Whereas on normal, hard, and extreme, the ninja actually takes the same amount of punches to knock down. Not the case on easy, which does affect how you approach the ninja. So Toma's in phase 2 of the fight, and we have Drixq in phase 3, the hide-and-seek phase, which is complete RNG. Had a bit of a rough spot there. If you stand right where the ninja drops, you have that happen to you, he'll immediately jump back up. So it's a really good idea if you're running this game to avoid standing in the spots where the ninja can drop, because it's great when the ninja drops right by you, but if you're standing right on that spot, he'll immediately realize, jump back up and find another spot to jump to. And Drixq's doing a pretty standard approach for the final phase, making circles to avoid the punch, then circling back in and combo. And GG to Drixq, he avoided the long line of dialogue that you skip on easy. Clean ninja for Drixq. Let's see how Toma does in the final phase here.
Gray Fox.
He's doing the 2-panel approach here I was talking about. Keep your distance. He won't ever teleport, and you time out the punches to get a nice combo. But if your time's a bit off, like right there, can miss it, and then he'll teleport behind you. Got to be a bit fast to avoid that. But he did pretty well there.
Still worth trying, though, on the easy category, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's worth trying if you understand how it works. And easy way to think about it is just look at the checker board pattern on the floor, which I gotta wonder if they intended that to help you out with distance management in the fight. If so, hats off to the designers of this game, because that's really clever to do that sort of thing. But you look at those checkerboard tiles on the floor, you keep 2 tiles away from you, time out your punches based off that 2-tile distance, and get that combo. He'll never teleport, he'll just take a little bit of a step forward and you do damage more quickly. This is shaping up to be a really close race, actually. You know, the distance is still pretty fair between the competitors, but it's not so much that it's impossible. There can be some real upsets, especially at the end of the game with the rat RNG, infamous rodent RNG game. And plus, there are some really tough rooms coming up after the Mantis fight. They can take risky, safe, whatever. So it'll be interesting
I'd say one of those rooms is probably the armory on their way back to pick up the PSG1, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. That is a huge determining factor. There's a lot of different approaches for the armory. Some safe, some risky, some time loss, some time game. And Drixq actually made a video not too long ago about a approach for the armory where you throw a stun grenade once you go into the room with a PSG1. Because there's a bit of a weird design feature. I don't know if it's intended or not, but the way stun grenades work in this game, if you throw a stun grenade in a room, like behind a closed door, the guards outside of that room will still get stunned, but the alert won't go off. So you can use that to your advantage, because in the armory later on, you throw both guards, and then you stun them, and then they're knocked out for a fair bit of time. You can take a really sweet, fast line through the armory there, but if your timing's a bit off with your throws, it can become a bit dicey. Drixq using a punch strat, actually, to get the position right, so Meryl wouldn't have to move, but it didn't work. If you make enough steps, you can actually make Meryl not move there, and save yourself a second, just start the cutscene as quickly as possible.
Where Meryl potential gets time save there possessed. For Toma, as long as he can get this Meryl cutscene skip.
Absolutely. Let's see how he can do it.
Now, is there any difference between this fight with Mantis on extreme and easy?
Oh, the big difference is just Mantis takes a lot of hits to go down. He is one of the tankiest bosses in the game on it. He just doesn't care if you shoot him. It's like you're flicking small pebbles at him when you shoot him. Whereas on easy, it's a lot easier to take him down. So it means the fight's a lot longer. It's a lot easier to take damage because the fight's. And Drixq going for the possession skip. Oh, he missed the grenade. And this should be it. If you throw a grenade at Mantis, depending on his damage value, depends on the difficulty, you can actually skip the first Meryl possession right here. And he got it. Very good. That saves you a stun grenade for Meryl, as long as you know that it takes 8 bullets, and then you throw the grenade pretty much directly center of Mantis. You get to skip the first Meryl possession. It looks like Toma's going to get it as well. You don't want to be too far off with the nade toss, or else the trick's not going to work. And Toma did not get it, unfortunately. So he has to use a stun grenade here. An interesting factoid as well, that both in this game and the remake, you can skip parts of this fight, depending on the damage values of Mantis, which I don't think that was intentional, but it's an interesting coincidence.
Pretty nice menuing there by Drixq, leaving the Mantis fight as he changes his controller back to port 1.
Yeah, that is one of the challenging aspects of playing on PS3, is having to go into the menu and do that shifting right there.
Seems kind of funny when I see it. They go into the menu, they change the controller from 2 to 1, then they go back into the menu and change the controller from digital to analog.
Yeah, I think that might be just some weird aspect of how the menu works. Like, you can't do both at the same time. I'm not sure. I've always wondered that myself, but I just assumed that that was just an issue with how that whole thing works. But I'm not sure if that menu time counts towards the in-game timer. However, since this is a real-time race, that does affect things. Toma does have a little bit of an edge real-time wise because of that Drixq has to deal with on PSN.
This place is mine. I'll take point again.
Toma gets the OOB on the first try.
Radar isn't working.
Very good.
Since we can't use the mine detector either.
Leave it to me.
This is the second out-of-bounds trick you see in all bosses. We only use the event glitch twice in the run in all bosses. Once in the tank hangar, skip the laser hallway and calling Meryl. And then also here in the cave, skip having to go through the cave normally, but it looks like Toma's having some trouble finding the door.
So, what do you think? Pretty good, huh?
How did you know where the mine
Looks like he just got it.
It sounds weird.
May have
but we
lost
managed to
10 or
go into
15
my
seconds
mind.
there trying to find the
I was
door.
able to see where the mines were placed. Are you impressed?
Wow.
Yeah, finding your way out of bounds can be very challenging, even for a seasoned runner like Toma. And that's just because you have to sort of visualize it in your head. Because
I've seen some guys on large skips actually counting, because you're running blind. The camera doesn't actually know where you are or how to pick you up.
Yep, exactly. You have to just have a knowledge of where the invisible walls are and so on and so forth.
Drixq makes his way back to Armory. We are pretty curious about what strats he's going to use in Armory.
This is... Oh, he's using FAMAS to take out the dogs. Interesting approach. Nice use of the FAMAS. Because typically, there's not a whole lot of uses left for the FAMAS throughout the run, but it's a nice little approach there.
Now, is that saving him a menu change?
I think you could just use the SOCOM instead. Depends on how you end the Mantis fight.
Like, yeah, they both went with the FAMAS, which was interesting. I don't believe there's really any difference between the damage that the bullets deal with the SOCOM and FAMAS, but both of them use the FAMAS during the Mantis fight.
Yeah, the main difference is just ease of use. The FAMAS is a bit easier just because it's a fully automatic weapon. Whereas with the SOCOM, you really need to pick your shots well. And the SOCOM, if you can tolerate just using the SOCOM, it ends up saving you time between your menus and not having to pick up the FAMAS. But at the same time, you better know how to pick your shots well and aim with that sucker, or else you're going to be losing time in the Mantis fight. So it's a bit of a trade-off, especially. And in the cave, you could use the SOCOM as well, but just like Drixq showed, it'd be a bit easier doing it with fully automatic weapon. Taking a fair bit of damage in this snowfield, though, from these turrets. Oh, a little bit too far to the right there. Drixq was wise in equipping the ration. I think this is one of those spots where we can see maybe the lack of experience in terms of running frequently, but we'll see how Toma reacts as well.
Yeah, Toma can certainly make up some time there.
Yeah, if he has a cleaner canyon, that's going to be a nice chunk of time save, because Drixq got shot twice and blown up, I think, 3 times, so about 7 seconds or so, 5 seconds. Here's the infamous armory. Let's see how Drixq approaches this. He's going for the knock strat. Gets the throw. Throws the stun at the right time. Oh, and he trips the laser. Oh, that's so rough.
This is huge. If Toma plays this right, may be able to catch up. Depending on Drix's exit strategy here. believe there's
It
a good
looks
way
like
to get out
he's-
of alerts in armor,
it
is
looks
there?
like he. Aw, that's rough. There is if you want to do a backup there, you could run into the area south, like where you fought Ocelot, like through that door, through the open wall, and then just reset the room that way. Oh
Makes it
man.
across the snowfield.
Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens here. Does Drixq
Another
triple
alert for Drixq.
He's going for the choke strat, missed it. He was a little bit too close to that guard.
As Toma makes his way through armory.
Taking the
This
safe
is his
strat
chance
here.
to take the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. This is exciting stuff. All right, now it's just on Toma to take that safe exit. If he can do that, he's going to take the lead here. Yep, just take it easy, take it safe. This is exactly what I was talking about during the pre-show. Toma just needs to do what he's comfortable with here. Don't do anything too fancy. And Drixq tripping the laser again, just a little bit too close to the laser when he goes prone.
I've seen people grind out armory for hours on end.
It's one of the hardest rooms in the game, and finally getting that backup strat with choking that guard out by the elevator. So here we go. Toma's got a bit of a lead now. And just as we were saying earlier, it really is anyone's game. That's not the only area where there is dicey movement possibilities. We'll see how both competitors approach the nuke floor, because there are multiple approaches for Nuke 1F, and it looks like Toma's going for the right-hand approach. And this right-hand approach, you use a chaff grenade after throwing a guard to avoid this camera on the right side, and just enter the elevator like that. Let's see how Drixq approaches this room. Taking the left side. Let's see. Let's... Oh, yep, he's doing my approach. Very nice. So, that approach, something I came up with after watching Englishman's Task, throwing the chaff on the left side. It does save you a few seconds over the right-hand approach. Really nice execution by Drixq there. Throwing that chaff, landed well onto the catwalk. Distracted the guard thrown. It's a very pretty looking strat. Very cool. And it does end up saving a little bit of time compared to Toma's approach.
Now, I imagine that throw requires just a little bit of precision, doesn't it?
Yeah, you need to make sure you cook at the right time, and your aim when you throw the chaff is really important, because you don't want to throw it too early, don't want to throw it too late. Throw it too late, the guard's going to come forward, and that's not what you want. Throw it too early, you miss the catwalk, what ends up happening is going to fall down below and not distract the guard. Toma now onto the Wolf 1 fight, where it doesn't matter what difficulty you're on, runs can come to die at Wolf 1. You can do leading shots on Wolf 1 while she's running across the catwalk, but it's a little bit harder compared to Wolf 2. Toma's got one bullet left. Let's see what he does with it. I missed. That's so rough.
Fairly fortunate in that she didn't hide behind the pillar for as much damage as he's taken.
It's that
Although it
one
looks
last
like
shot.
That's exactly where she is now.
And Drixq just laying into Wolf. Oh my gosh. Wow, what a fight. That really evened things out a bit. Thomas still
Drixq
has
saved a lot of time there.
That was huge. Absolutely
my
huge.
gosh.
You could just see right there how much of an effect the Wolf 1 fight have on your lead.
So after 3 continues in armory, Drixq
Didn't matter.
closing the gap all in one fight. Absolutely incredible.
I had a feeling this was going to be an exciting match with some interesting things going on, and by golly, we went from one end to the other end, and now back to even, really.
So, you're human after all. The torture will stop as I promised.
Looks like neither of our competitors are going to save Meryl.
Have my fun with her.
Rest in peace, Meryl. You're just not worth the time.
I hope you can still
Rip Meryl.
reach yourself
Rip
in the
Meryl.
end, my
One,
friend.
Meryl. So, how do you feel about this matchup going into the second half of the game?
I think it's going to come down to the stair climb. It's going to come down to who takes the least amount of damage. Every time you get shot on that stair climb, you're going to lose a step or two. As we can see, they're just about 5 seconds off of each other. 5 to 10 seconds off each other.
Yeah, the towers can very much cause some upsets. It's not likely you're going to die on easy in the towers, but you can lose a lot of time depending on how your tower climb goes, your rappel goes, how you deal with the catwalk guards outside on the connecting bridge. Of course, the hind fight, where you can lose an insane amount of time on easy if you don't get the second phase well.
Right, is that where the helicopter flies below the surface?
Exactly. You never want to see that happen. Because
I believe we saw that happen to Tyler yesterday. Race with Trombone Chino.
it can just kill your run.
And that,
just
yeah,
devastating.
I'd say it probably added a minute to his overall time. So yeah, still quite a bit of room that Drixq can make up here in the next three portions of the game.
Absolutely. And just like in Twin Snakes, the hind fight can be a huge influence on how well you do. This game is no different. I think we all appreciate a really close race like this. It's always exciting. You see when things are just held in the balance so much.
Now, you've been in a few close races yourself, haven't you? I remember calling one particular race with you and Jaguar King.
Oh my
literally
god!
Came down to the credits.
Yes, we were in the tape.
What's it like to be in that position? Where do you know that the race is close? Are people relaying that? To
Yeah,
you
people
in
were
chat?
telling me that like it was just like we were both playing so bad throughout. We made so many bad mistakes, and then I was really behind. And then Jaguar just had a really bad rat, like horrible rat, and I ended up getting in the lead, just bring it together, and then it came down to the escape, and that was just stressful for both of us. It was a difference of seconds. Looks like we're getting a request from chat to have Drixq audio because it's stereo instead of mono. I think
Yeah.
that's a fair point.
Yeah, Toma's audio is pretty quiet. I didn't realize it's mono, but that's probably not fun for anybody listening on headphones.
Given how even this race is, I think it's fair to just keep it on Drixq.
Both runners make their way out of cell. Now another trip across the snowfield. We'll see how this goes for Drixq as he showed some rust last time, getting caught up by a few claymores.
A bit easier going out of the tank hangar, because when you exit the tank hangar and you go into the canyon, you're already in the middle of where you need to. You just run straight down. You won't get tripped by the claymores. It's when you're going towards it that you have to do that weird lineup thing. But as we saw earlier, Drixq doing the faster strat in Nuke 1F, and if he does it here again, that could be the way he gets the lead. We'll see here.
Okay, yep, as Toma takes the right approach, the nuke building. Does appear that Drixq is going to go for it again. Let's see how this goes.
Cooking way later than I usually do, but he throws it onto the platform, which is really cool. And look at that. Look at that. For me, it's like Drixq. Oh, he messed up the elevator panel, but still,
that saved him. That saved him some time.
Yeah, it's clear as day when you compare these two strategies. When you do that, it saves you a fair bit of time. And just reiterating the fact that with Metal Gear Solid 1, among other Metal Gear Solid speedruns, different approaches giving you different results. And they're both totally fine, fair approaches, but doing the riskier approach does give you that time save.
Toma again with a first try OOB. See how Drixq does.
We'll see how Toma does with the run to the door.
That's right, and he had a hard time finding the door earlier.
Looks like he redeemed himself after the trouble before. Very good. Oh, and Drixq having trouble now with the door. Looks like they passed the baton on that one.
Now, when you do the stair climb, are you counting staircases as far as stun throws go?
Yeah, what I do is I look at the number on the floor, because whenever you climb climb the staircases, there's a little number on the bottom of each flight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. And you can either go off that or just, knowing like, okay, here's when the next pair of guards come up, etc. So with this first set, when you see the number on the floor that says 5 around there, that's when you want to throw your first stun. From there, I kind of just have it by feel. I do want to make it a little bit more clear for people learning, like when to throw, since it's not totally obvious from the get-go. There's still a lot of work to do in terms of tutorials for this game and making it as fast as possible. And Drixq getting knocked down. The tower climb really tests your quick throw abilities, which is a technique that you can use in this game. If you try to throw someone and then swap to the weapon, you'll cancel the animation afterwards. And getting those precise, fast, quick throws is really important on the tower climb.
So far, Edge is going to Toma on the stair climb.
Yep, cleaner stair climb. This is, again, where we're coming into the whole issue of familiarity. Toma has that little bit of an edge on familiarity, but still making a few movement errors here on the top floor. But it shouldn't matter. Looks like Drixq is finally getting up onto the top floor.
Now, if you're just tuning in, Drixq had led this race all the way up until Armory. Picking up the PSG1 proved to be a bit difficult for him. He also stepped on a few claymores, making his way across the snowfield, which allowed Toma to close the gap.
But then the wolf fight happened, and Drixq got a really nice time save compared to Toma. And now we're in the situation where these competitors are really not too far off. They both made mistakes going up that tower, so now we're going to see how they handle the rappel down and the connecting bridge guards. This rappel, if you know how to use your inputs on your D-pad or analog stick, it actually can be very predictable on easy, normal, hard. However, on extreme, you really don't want to take the damage going for big boss ranks, so really
especially on large skips.
Yeah, especially on large skips. It's just a bad you get hurt here. So
that damage bar you carry out of the rappel goes all the way till Raven, doesn't it?
Oh, it goes all the way to Rex 1, man.
Oh wow.
Yep. You don't get a health refill until Rex 1.
It looks like Drixq is using extreme strats on his rappel here. He's not running down the pillars.
And he got shot while jumping across. That is a rough situation, because when you get shot by the helicopter, it interrupts your movement there. And Toma getting him.
Toma has a good catwalk.
Yeah, pretty nice catwalk there. See how Drixq does. Typical throw. Nice move right there. This is going to be a nice, clean catwalk for Drixq as well. Did get shot there, that's okay. The big thing is making sure you don't get shot and knocked back down when you're approaching the guards. Still anyone's game as we go into Tower B. I gotta give it to Drixq. He's really showing the depth of knowledge and his sort of interesting choices that he's made that have like kept him on the edge here of being on balance.
We mentioned at the beginning of the stream that easy is not Drixq's normal category. He may have been out of practice on MGS1 for several months.
Damn.
We saw that on the rappel, where Drixq was executing the extreme strat, opposed to running down the railing. Would be the easy strat.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd say the next defining point of this run is going to be during this hind fight.
So here's a new question for you, forensic old pal. Is watching this stuff, does it make you want to return to MGS1? I know you've been away from speedrunning for a while, but
yeah, and I have spent some time with MGS1. I did more or less some casual runs on hard, and I'd implemented quite a few of the speedrunning strats into my run. I did do a little bit of large skip on extreme, and I did enjoy that. But the problem with that is it always made my MGS2 run worse. And it's because of the buttons. You know, I would go in and I'd punch at the elevator, and I'd do weird things every time I'd come back to play MGS2. And I was always, you know, I would never move my difficulties on MGS2 either. If I'm doing Euro Extreme, I'm sticking to Euro Extreme. I never wanted to accidentally, you know, execute a normal or an easy strat. But yeah, that muscle memory that I built up really got wrecked when I started playing MGS1.
yeah, it can be very confusing going from Metal Gear game to Metal Gear game. in general, I think it's easier to sort of run one at a time.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at guys who are able to run more than one game at the same time.
One of the most confusing is doing this game and the remake at the same time. I would not recommend it because there are
Yeah.
a fair bit of differences that can mess you up. And Toma going into the second phase of the Hind fight. Let's see if he can get this loop. Oh, missed the shot, missed the shot. Uh-oh. Not looking good. Too many
The helicopter
shots.
goes down below the surface here. That could give Drixq a bit of an edge here.
Absolutely.
Indeed, looks like what's happening here. Pay attention to what happens to Drixq during this part as well.
It's a good start. Up, he missed the shot a little bit too early on that shot, but it's not the end of the world. Can keep up the loop even if you miss the shots. However, you don't want to miss too many of them because ammo does become a concern. I don't think he has enough ammo to finish off this loop. No, he doesn't.
Looks like he's got more of the Heinz damage bar right now than Toma does. Even if he does miss the loop, he's taking the lead. At least during this fight here.
He maintained the loop while picking up the ammo. Well done to Drixq. And that's a finish Hind fight for Drixq and the lead. And just as we were talking about before, how the Hind just completely turn around, we just saw it right there. One false move. You miss too many shots. You can't keep that loop up.
Is that our third lead change so far?
Let's see. It was Drixq, then Toma. It was like Toma for a while. Drixq got back in the balance, but he didn't get the lead until right now. So that is the second lead change, right? Because one person was in the lead.
I'd say, count that as the second one.
Oh.
Two really, really good boss fights out of Drixq. That Wolf one fight was amazing. Caught him back up, made up that time that he lost in Armory. Then just right now, during this Hind fight.
I'm going for the grenade strat on the turrets. Let's see how he does. Gets all four of the first ones. The first two throws are the challenging ones for this strat because if you miss up the throw, you might blow up the ones below, but not the ones above. And he missed one on the right. Exactly what I'm saying. It can be challenging to get all the turrets. You might blow up one or two, but miss the other one. But don't count Toma out. Toma still has plenty of talent in this game, and things can totally change pace in the next 20 minutes, depending on how the Rat goes, how Raven goes, and of course, Wolf 2 and the end of this Tower B. I am just so glad to be commentating with an exciting match with you friends. Like, this is just
I wish they could all be this way.
This is crazy, man.
I really do wish they could all be this close. Yeah, and looking ahead, I imagine this Rat, I'll say it right now, I think the Rat is going to decide the race.
I don't know.
Talk about
I have a feeling
the
it might
Wolf
be
2 fight, though.
It might be Wolf 2 that determines this race. Drixq might, if he has a Wolf fight like he did earlier, once again, I don't know. Going for the choke strat, very clean chokes. Not a whole lot of damage. Guards were nice and separated. Looks
after
like
that
he's
Wolf 1 fight.
Oh?
That Wolf 1 fight, I trust Drixq with the sniper rifle. I'd give him an edge. Wolf 2. We'll see how it goes, though. Toma makes his way onto the elevator.
I'm looking a bit nervous. He had some second thoughts there. It looked like he went from FAMAS to grenades, then to chaff. And, you know, these menuing decisions may not seem like a whole lot, but they add up throughout the whole run. How well you do your menus. But he's going for the choke strat. Got knocked down, fortunately. Takes out the first guard. Second. So he doesn't get shot again. Alright, not too bad. Not too bad, besides the knock at the start. Looks like Drixq is now starting Wolf 2. And opening with the Stinger look to see where Wolf is moving. And maintaining the Stinger to see if she'll hide. It's not hiding. Finally going into the PSG-1 to try to get that track shot off. Gets that shot off when she goes crouch. Very nice. Going for the Stinger. I think this is going to work, though. Nope. She moved too early, but it's an interesting note to make about the Wolf 2 fight. If she ever hides behind that tree on the right, there's 2 trees. There's one behind another. And if you just stand in place and she's behind that second tree, it's not going to connect. This is not the greatest Wolf 2 so far. If Toma can get a clean start, he might be able to make up time here, because Drixq is not having the greatest time. Only about halfway through her health bar. Both of these Wolf fights have their challenges to them. A lot of it comes down to familiarity with the field and how she moves, so again, Toma might have the edge here.
Now, is her starting route RNG?
Yeah, we're how she moves, where she moves, all that. It's out of your hands. Like,
So not Drix's fault. Just playing with the cards he was dealt.
Yes.
Drixq finishes up Wolf 2.
It's a lot of a dynamic decision. Should I go for the Stinger? Should I try to go for tracking shots? Should I move to the right, to the left, etc.? And then big one is when she's behind that hill, is she going to double back on herself or keep on running in the direction she's running? She can easily just decide to run back. Toma finishing up Wolf 2, it looks like, with this Stinger shot. Hopefully I didn't just jinx him. Commentator's curse! Commentator's curse! Oh, God. Drixq making it safe, crossing crane, blowing it up, waiting for the evasion phase to end. Nice clean throw on the guard, and done with the blast furnace. So this is looking to be in Drix's favor. There's only a handful of spots left where things can turn. And that's the Rat, Raven, and the liquid fight, really. Drixq starting the elevator fight here. Really clean throws from Drixq. That was phenomenal. He didn't miss any of those throws. Didn't actually choke him out or anything like that. Just really clean fight, and you can see that extreme practice coming into play here. That is
Yeah, it may not be a deal breaker on the easy category, but on extreme, that part is pretty important to get right.
Yeah, that can just destroy runs. Absolutely destroy runs. And Drixq showing his veteran experience with Dream right there. See how Toma approaches the same fight. Goes for the top left guard first, takes the shot. Nice clean throw on the top left. And the bottom left. And goes for the choke kill on the right. Still not too shabby, but not as fast as Drixq's. That's the one issue. It's still a good approach. He didn't miss any of the throws.
Goes to Drixq there.
Because the issue is if you go for that top left guard first, you're adding steps to the encounter because you have to run back for the guy that was right next to you at the start. And that's the issue with that approach. That's the wonderful thing about watching races, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, is we get to see these different approaches and how they play out.
Now the Raven fight is going to be different on easy than it is on extreme. The way which he approaches you, right?
Yes and no, and wait a minute. Here we go. This is what I was wondering about. Was Drixq gonna do this wacky strat? He's running up on Raven and just firing missiles at him like this. It looks pretty goofy, but it's pretty awesome as well because you can take the damage with all the rations.
He's literally just standing right in front of him. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
Yeah, I saw this earlier on when he was practicing. I'm like, is he going to go for this? And indeed he is. And it is something else, I gotta say. It may end up being faster just because you don't have to wait for Raven to move. Really clean fight. As goofy as that looks, it very well might be faster than the loop that we're going to see Toma do.
Now, whose strat is that?
I've never seen that before.
Did Drixq just make that up before the stream?
Maybe. Oh, and Raven goes for the... This is something that can happen on easy, where he goes and turns left from where he's going. On extreme, he always goes south from that position. He's in the same position on extreme, and he just runs south. But on easy, he can choose to turn. That is one of the elements of RNG with easy. Again, with people thinking easy is easy, not necessarily, because you have to be on your toes for something like this. Here we see a standard approach in terms of looping Raven.
Yeah, we should mention that Toma is the current world record holder for this category.
Yes, he is.
And even he gets caught up on that strat with Raven. He's able to straighten it out without losing too much time.
Yeah, that is a big concern when you do this strat on easy, is planning for when Raven decides to do that. And the way you plan that is essentially be far enough south on that crate where you position yourself, and then fire the missile north. Raven will shoot the missile, and then you can start the loop normally. But if you're a bit too close up, when he shoots that missile, you'll get blown up, and then you have to do a backup strat.
We're coming up on the rat. I know you're just as excited as I am to find out what happens here to Drixq.
Oh,
I'll talk about the rat a little bit. It's not just good bad rat, right? Like there's some in between things that can happen too as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a spectrum. There's perfect, good, okay, bad, and oh my gosh, I want to throw my controller out the window.
Yeah,
because I've made a huge mistake, as Job Bluth would say from Arrested Development. I've made a huge mistake, and it can totally happen. Drixq actually going for an extreme strat approach, throwing that guard.
Yeah, some runners would do a punch kick back there, wouldn't they, to buy themselves a little bit of space, right?
Yeah, that's a thing about going for rank 1 to avoid the alert there, is buffering your time and then approaching. Don't really need to do that on easy, obviously. No, neither of the runners are going for Hound rank, which is the top rank you get on easy. Both are going for Pigeon, which is rank 2.
Drixq makes his way down. The run could be decided by the fate of this rat.
Absolutely. If Drixq gets a great rat here, it's really his race to lose at that point.
Anybody rooting for Drixq out there, be sure to put up those bless RNGs for us.
So there's 3 positions where the rat can come out of. Time he comes out of that hole is random. We hope for the hole in the southern position immediately. See how Drixq gets this. No perfect rat. Oh, he's running for the other position. Checking it over here. Takes out the camera.
Yeah, that might have been a menuing mistake on his part there.
Sure where he's going. He's checking the ditch. This shouldn't happen.
Now, he did have 3 continues on the armory. How many continues do you need before it's not in the rat's mouth?
Apparently, it's not the continues, it's the alerts, but I still am really unsure about this.
Seems to believe it's in the ditch already and not with the rat.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure the rat has it, and this is
yeah, he didn't find it. This is huge. As
this
Toma
is actually massive. This could be, if Toma wins the lottery here, we're going to see another shift in the lead. So we'll see how Toma gets it here. No perfect rat, and he's doing the stand here and scan strat.
Yeah, he got good rat. I'd call that good.
Yeah, I would call that a good rat. He's got to wait a moment here for the rat to move away from the hole. There we go. Oh
Drixq.
no! Oh no, Drixq! Oh no! Oh, that's rough. And Toma now got the PAL card, heading back up.
As the rat scurries between Drix's legs.
Oh, that is exactly what I was talking about. The Joe Bloof moment. I've made a huge mistake. The rat just scurrying away. Toma reclaiming the lead.
It'll be our 3rd lead change of this match so far.
Yes, it's been a bumpy road for Toma, but he's got it back. Drixq just getting. Oh, I mean, what do you even say at this point? It's unfortunate, especially after such a great level of play throughout the rest of the run. This is not a spot. The rat just does not come over here. The rat's going to show up on one of the spots. But it seems like Drixq is just getting a bit frustrated. Finally got that rat. So Toma exiting. He's put in PAL card 1. So we've got the difference of just this room. So it's not huge. So it might really come down to Liquid, and we'll see if how Liquid is approached by both of these runners, because it's quite possible. Toma has a bit of one of his faults, and he admits this himself, is his Liquid fight. He sometimes gets in his head about it and has some trouble. He's definitely improved since I've started watching him run, months ago, but it still can happen where you have a mess up at the rat.
Now we're expected to interview Toma after this race. And I suppose what I'm curious about is whether or not he's going to be using the metronome today.
I don't know. I don't know if Toma's utilized this metronome that ya boy Apples has made.
Which we literally just got. He shared that with me during an interview after the first round, and it kind of blew my mind that somebody had gone out and timed a metronome, do that punching rhythm. And so yesterday after the round 2 match with Tyler and Tromboncino, I asked Tromboncino about whether or not he had used the newly metronome that Apples had made available to us, and he said he did. So I'm curious on whether or not Toma has implemented it as well.
It's a very good question. I actually was trying to make a metronome for a single punch infinite, but I couldn't quite get it. Just kind of threw my hands up in the air and said, forget about it. I'm just going to post my single punch infinite video, but it would be nice to have both metronomes, and maybe someone, your boy, can make a single punch metronome, because I kind of failed at it. I got kind of close, but I couldn't quite get it right. Having
Toma
that
with a pretty good lead here, and it looks like he does check the card. I was just going to say, do you think he checks the card?
I think it's in his interest to check the card. Drixq, however, he really shouldn't check the card. It'll be a... Oh! Drixq bringing up the timer. Do you see that? I see the timer in the corner. He's like, he had a W split ready for the moment you entered this room.
Pretty funny. It was cropped out of the restream.
Yeah, you guys don't see it, but if you go to Drix's stream, the W splits are just like peeking out of the corner. And if you look really hard at your stream, you'll see in the bottom left corner is this black line in the corner, and that's that's a W split timer.
Now, obviously,
using a timer
the amount of time
useful.
that you save checking the card is not going to be an incredible amount, but over the course of the game, these things do add up, and I know the runners are optimizing the way that they use the menu. Nobody wants to go in the menu unless they absolutely have to. So we now know how Drixq does it. Some guys go by audio cue. Other guys are watching their own split. I believe it's a minute and 1 second, right? 61 seconds.
Yeah, around that time.
So I'm sure Toma knows he has a bit of a lead now. And I imagine this card up, he's probably going to go ahead and check. Now, I've never seen it happen, but say you didn't check, right? And didn't quite wait the full 61 seconds. That's a one.
Your run is dead. Your run is just dead, because that's especially in a race like this. Like, if that happens, it's not as bad for blue, but oh my gosh, if you mess up the hotkey, I've done this before. I leave too early, my run's dead because I go all the way to the computer room.
Yeah, you don't find out until you put that card key in.
Yeah, because you don't want to check, right? You don't want to check the card, because that's the whole point of it. Is you're not checking the card. You don't equip the card until you're there. I'm actually nervous for Drixq here that he might have messed it up. Okay, he got it.
Okay, yeah, he didn't check. He's doing everything he can to save time. I imagine that W split timer isn't the first time he's pulled it up to measure the time to cool the card.
So that little bit of time save can make the difference.
Now, typically we will put the audio on the leading runner, but earlier we found that Toma has mono audio, so it's only coming through on one side of the speaker. That was a bit annoying. So for the rest of the run, we're going to leave the audio on Drix's channel.
Absolutely.
Now, of course, this is the first round of this tournament. We've already done a couple of rounds. We did one in the second round. But the winner of this round is going to go on to face Rock's Face second round.
And I think Rox is going to have a lot of competition on his hands, regardless of who wins this race. We definitely saw in this race, neither of these competitors, they ain't chopped liver. These are pretty great runners at this game.
I'm sure you'd probably agree, but I wouldn't mind watching these guys race again.
Absolutely. I love watching Drixq run this. And I think, yeah, if he cleaned up his ride approach just a little bit, I think this really would have been his game to lose. It was just a little bit rough on the edges there. Thought it was in the ditch, and that cost him heavy.
Of course, this race is not over, but we mentioned at the beginning of the stream that this is not Drix's category. Some of the strats that he's using are from his extreme run, and he may be a bit rusty. I think it's probably been at least a few months since he actually even touched MGS1. Drixq was a fill-in after somebody had pulled out of the tournament.
And for being a fill-in, I gotta say, excellent performance. Really appreciate it, just so the bracket wouldn't get messed up. So we can have more competition, not less. So I think everyone who helped organize this tournament, commentators, runners, the admins at MGSR, really appreciate Drixq for stepping up and doing that.
10 runners. I didn't expect to get 10 for the MGS1 tournament, but very, very excited about that. Of course, we'll take another look at the bracket afterwards. We expect to have an interview with Toma, so we're sticking around, guys. Of course, tomorrow we're going to be doing another round of this tournament. Be the round with Raichu and Apples. Apples moving up from the first round, second round with Raichu.
It's an exciting time to be running this game. It's increased in popularity over this year, and I think with a tournament like this, you see 10 different competitors at various skill levels, but all talented speedrunners.
Right, as we're watching Toma's the current world record holder in this particular category, and yesterday Tromboncino at certain points of the run was ahead of the world record. He obviously did not get a good rat, and I think that was a big contributor to his final time, which was only 20 seconds off of the world record. Toma was commentating with me yesterday, and he was checking splits, his world record splits as we were going along. And that was particularly impressive because Tromboncino was playing on emulator. And emulator is not the fastest way to play this game.
No, not at all. Which really just begs the question of how low can easy go? We've had this discussion on and off in the community about how low can this category go on console. Sub 90 is entirely possible on Integral, but 88, 87, 86, I don't know. I'm not gonna, at this point, I don't even want to start limiting ourselves, because who knows how far take all bosses easy on console. It's a really interesting question.
Well, and you've got a fast disk speed Japanese PS2 on its way, don't you?
Oh, I have it. It's right at my feet, man. I was considering.
It's already here.
Yeah, it's here, man. I did a rank 1 playthrough the other day to get a save file, because if you have a rank 1 save file, you can unlock the ninja missions automatically in the VR section, which is saves you the trouble of having to play through everything. So I did that. And my US time is, if you do the subtraction, it's faster than Toma's. So I'm looking to get a sub 90 in the near future, especially with practicing for my match with Copper.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got about 3 or 4 guys that could all potentially be touching the world record, even during this tournament. And Copper is going to be one of those guys. John Bonchino, of course, Toma, who's already got the world record, and yourself got that Japanese PS2 right at his feet.
I had a lot of trouble finding a Japanese PS2 that was working. I gotta say to people, if you're interested in running Integral on this game, I think PSTV would just be the better way to go if you already have an HD capture card, because PS2s, they're aging. I mean, they're all not, function aging technology, and they're not always going to last forever. Same with CDs. Even though I do love having the physical media, and it's a very nice thing to have, digital might be the way to go.
I've got a couple of PS2 controllers that are slowly failing. So every once in a while, they just start glitching out. And what I've read is sometimes it's the contacts, sometimes it's just the wires. You know how people wrap the controllers if you have a corded controller, they wrap them up, and it's that joint that comes right outside of the controller that gets kind of worn out because of people and the way that they wrap them up. So yeah, if you have corded controllers, do not
just don't bother wrapping them up. You can bundle them, kind of pile them, but don't wrap them, because if the tension's too taut or whatever, cause wear and tear on the cables or the wiring within the cable.
Yeah, and finding a brand new PS2 controller is not going to be easy.
I wish Sony would just re-release, do a new run of DualShock 2s. Take a hint from Nintendo with the GameCube controllers for Smash 4 on Wii U. I mean, now the original Xbox controller is actually getting a re-release as well. So, who's the only person missing that? Sony. And people would buy DualShock 2s. It's not just speedrunners. People love this controller. And even if it was slightly different, I mean, if they had the Sony branding and had even if it's just a hair below the quality, people would appreciate it, just because they're manufactured in 2017, 2018. So we got to start a letter writing campaign to get DualShock 2s manufactured.
Well, this seems kind of weird, but the PS2 was still on retail shelves until a month before the PS4 was released.
Yeah, it's insane how long.
Yeah, the last time I looked, you can go on eBay and still buy a brand new PS2 Slim. It's going to be the 9000 series. But that would probably be the quickest way I could think of getting a new controller. I doubt you'd be able to find an OEM controller, as like a second controller or replacement controller.
And now we're starting X1 for Toma. He's just standing in place, no chaff grenade, no nothing, just getting in line. It's all about timing your shots well with this fight.
And not much he can really mess up here. I think the chances for Drixq closing the gap are getting pretty slim.
It all comes down to Liquid, friend. It all comes down to Liquid. And we'll see how Drixq handles easy Rex. It's not the same fight as Extreme at all. You don't want to do Extreme strats on easy. You're going to lose a fair chunk of time. Oh, and he goes prone. He thought the cutscene was right there. Toma missing that first shot on Liquid there. And, Looks like Drixq is going for the chaff strat, which keeps Rex in place. Does add on to the menuing compared to what Toma did. And did he get that shot? He did. That was a really nice shot from Drixq as that missile is flying towards him. And Toma's out of rations. I hope he... Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, you saw him open up the menu looking for a ration, didn't you?
He's like, do I have any more rations? Like, no, you're out. You've used them all, man. He was another missile attack away from dying.
Not easy. It's not always easy.
It's not always easy being easy.
Well, we can attribute that to the particular strat he's using there, where he's just standing there and taking a bunch of damage.
Yeah, it adds some risk. The reality of it. That was super close, and you do not want to die on Rex, because what that means is you're gonna go all the way to Rex 1. You have to fight Rex 1 again, and then you need to listen to Frank Yeager's monologue again, and let's just say that monologue could be a bit shorter when you're speedrunning. Can't skip that, so.
About 20 seconds here, we'll find out. Not Toma can execute the infinite punch.
This is like a tense golf tournament or like bowling. Everyone goes quiet.
Well, I'm wondering if he doesn't, is that enough time for Drixq to catch up?
Possibly. We'll see. Looks like Toma's going for the setup. Does the first throw, second throw, now starting the infinite.
And he slips out.
He slipped out of it. But he's getting these combos. His rhythm's just a little bit off, and then he loses it. Then Liquid has a moment to pop out and start fighting again, but he's doing decent damage. Nothing too shabby here.
You could enjoy one,
but not quite lined up to keep on doing the combo. Taking some damage here. Luckily, Liquid doesn't do a lot of damage to you on easy. But it still can happen. You can die on easy on this fight. It's knocked down. Drixq going for the infinite setup himself. Let's see what he can do. Getting it. Toma's about to finish the fight. But Drixq is maintaining the infinite, though. He's maintaining that infinite. Still has a knockdown Liquid. Toma's still struggling. Okay, they're both at the same health value, and Drixq finishes right before that 2-minute finish. Nice and clean. Toma's still in the fight.
Stealing the lead. I cannot believe what I just saw there.
We're back to a lead change, but this is still not over yet. Just as Liquid says, we still have the escape to contend with here.
Greens are pretty much synced.
I'll drive.
There's just a handful of seconds difference here. It could still go either way. We're now talking about an escape terminating the run, and this is what we were talking about earlier between me and Jaguar. Now here again. Awesome race. Drixq getting into the truck.
Snake, jump in.
I mean, you can see right on the clock there. They're only a second apart.
It's so close, and now we're talking about an escape.
Toma got through the gate first, though.
So with this escape, we got 2 checkpoints, and then the final part with Liquid. And depending on how the guards treat you in the checkpoints, you could take more damage, less. Drixq looks like he's going for the left tank first, but it looks like, okay. Both had pretty similar checkpoints there, but Drixq still in the lead. Coming into checkpoint 2, he goes with the first guard on the left and does a fan approach. Just has to get that guard behind the pillar, and is down.
That's Toma's screen, by the way. like Toma's got the lead going out of the second checkpoint.
For me, it looks like Drixq has the lead. I'm gonna refresh my pages.
Okay.
Not yet, Snake.
Let's see.
It's not over yet. Liquid.
Yeah, and we could have different delays between
Yeah,
what
we
you're
have
viewing and
different
what
delays.
I'm viewing.
But for me, Drixq is at a 22, and then Toma's at a 27. But it looks like Toma got into the tunnel phase a bit earlier.
Yeah, that's what I've got too now. So Toma with just a ever so slight lead.
We're talking about how well you shoot Liquid in this part of the run. And it looks like Drixq got the transition first into the next tunnel phase. This is so neck and neck. And it looks like Toma got the lead right at the end.
Yeah, that's what I've got too. Like Toma just barely got it. Now, of course, what we're viewing is not the official feed. The official race is going to come down to who hits .done first on Speedruns Live. So what we're viewing could have some delay to it. So there could be still a chance that Drixq is ahead, but he may have more delay.
Yeah, and it's still not over. We have the mashing through this codec sequence, holding X to skip the cutscenes, and then the final cutscene you have to skip at the end. It's not a whole lot left, but we're talking about a race as close as this.
At least right now, it looks like Toma gets out of the Naomi codec first.
Yeah, that's what it looks like for me as well. We're talking less like 5 seconds, within a 5-second margin. Wow. I mean,
Yeah, I think as far as officially on the bracket goes, this one's going to be determined by RTA. So whoever hits .done first on SRL is going to be moving up to face Rock's face. At least right now, I can't say this is official, but it looks like it's Toma's game. Like I said earlier, there could be some delay on Drix's stream.
yeah, quite possible. It's quite possible. Even so, though, I gotta say, man, this is by far the best race we've had in this tournament. Just
Yeah, like
so much back and forth.
Like I was saying earlier, I wish they all could be like this.
Agreed.
And again, stick around because we're going to be talking to Toma after this is over. We will typically do interviews with both runners. At least at the time being, we don't expect to hear from Drixq, as Drixq is.
He's the silent Bob.
Yeah, he doesn't use a microphone. Now, of course, you guys can turn down interviews, but so far, everybody has wanted to do an interview, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, I definitely wonder how both of these competitors feeling throughout this run. Because my goodness.
It looked like Toma had it in the bag during that liquid fight. And it was amazing how quick Drixq was able to catch up with a proper infinite punch.
It's just too much choking right at the end. Because he had it there. It was just he could not get Liquid off of Rex. And you gotta do that in that fight.
we go back to that rat, and Drixq just had the hardest time finding that rat. It was running between his legs. It was almost like a circus show.
Yes. Yeah, in that situation, what Toma might have wanted to do instead of going for the PPK, the punch kick to knock him off, was just try to throw him off the edge. But he just could not get that knockoff, and Drixq took that opportunity and ran with it.
Right, worth mentioning that once you run Liquid's his health bar down, you still have to kick him off the edge.
Yep.
Yeah, what a race. I can't wait to talk to Toma. Can't wait to hear what he has to say about this one. I actually still don't know who won. Like I said, we could be looking at some delay. Both these guys are not in the United States where we're broadcasting this, so the amount of time it takes to get to me to rebroadcast it, there could be some difference between it.
Are you in the SRL room?
I'm not, no. Do you have it pulled up?
No. I want to enter this room though, honestly. Let's see.
Yeah, that is it doesn't matter what their score screens say. It's who hits .done first. Over on SRL. So yeah, at least for right now, it looks like Toma's going to win. From what we're viewing. What we're viewing could have some delay. We just don't know.
Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out. Those two are still alive. The Vector? Yes, sir. Fox die should become activated soon. Right on schedule. Yes, sir. I recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead data. No, sir. My cover is intact. Nobody knows who I really am. Yes, the DARPA.
We're all on the edge of our seats.
I know, I literally cannot wait to see who won this race.
Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. President.
Looks like, at least on my screen, that Toma's gone into the score screen. 38:08 game time.
And Drixq 138.18.
So at least by in-game time, it looks like Toma is going to be moving on to the next round. And of course, we're going to be talking to him as soon as he logs off of his Twitch stream. Like I said, it's going to be determined by who hit .done, and we're going to find out once he comes on. but I'd say at least right now we're gonna have to call Toma the winner of this race.
And it sounds like, if I'm reading Stealth Edge's comment correctly, 8-second RTA difference for Toma.
And when he's ready, if somebody could move. Okay, looks like we've moved him in. How's it going, Toma?
But I can't stop shaking.
What a race!
I only came in twice to see what was happening in the race, and one was the rat, and then the other was the credits, and I can't believe how close it was.
Yeah, there were 4? Was it 4 or 5 forensic?
I kind of lost count.
It was like 4 or 5.
Yeah, Toma, you had a lead going into Liquid, and so what happened there? It looks like Liquid slipped out of the Infinite.
Yeah, I never really got it started properly. It's the same with every single one of the runs where I can do it offline, I can do it in practice. And then when it comes to PBs or anything, or if I'm on a good run or like this race here, I completely choke it every time. And then it just slips out and I end up chasing him. Plywood will tell you 100 times over how many times it's affected my times in this game. It's just something that I can't really seem to get over.
So you had people in your chat telling you that
no, I wasn't.
I
didn't have chat open. I made a massive mistake right at the start, and I had problems with my TV as well, where it was trying to update. So I've got a new TV, so it was trying to update, and I was trying to play the game and cancel the update at the same time. There's twice it happened. One was when I went out of bounds in the cavern, and there was the other time where where by the time I turned the TV back on, I was just standing outside the bathroom on B1 in the nuke building, and I must have just been stood there for 15 seconds doing nothing. I just had so much go wrong, and so I was making mistakes, so I just turned everything off and concentrated on trying to win the race.
Right, we had noticed that you had a hard time getting out of that cavern there with that OOB, and so that was your TV. Your TV was trying to update there.
The TV went update, and I panicked, and I hit OK, and then I turned the TV off, and then back on again. And by that time, I'd lost where I was. I knew I was near the door, but so I was the TV went off by my clumsy hands.
That's absolutely incredible that you were able to maintain composure. And
the only way that I could do it is because there was the light, the door. The door has a light, and I could still see that light. So I thought I've got to be near the door, and then I just managed to find my way eventually.
Crazy.
Now you got a pretty good rat there, didn't you? It wasn't what you'd call God rat, but it was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it did take forever just to get away from the vent, because if I went and hit that stinger missile straight away, then the rat would have just went straight back in the vent, and then I would have just been chasing it around forever. So it was okay. I didn't panic. I just waited for it to come out, and then at that time, that was one of the times where I had the stream on, and I could see that Drixq was struggling with his. So I thought I'm just going to wait for it to come out and then take time, and yeah, so it ended up being fairly good.
Drixq had a terrible time with the rat, and that was one of the many lead changes that we saw. Another one was you had a pretty good armory. Maybe you want to talk about that.
Yeah, the armory was just I played it safe. There is a bit of a fast strat there, but I never try to do it anymore because it's just not worth the risk. So just played it safe and just got the quick throw and waited and just played it safe and just made sure I made no mistakes.
So after Rat, did you know you had a lead? Because we noticed you were checking your card keys to see if they had fully heated up and cooled down.
Yeah, I knew I was in the lead at that point. I had to turn, so I had the stream on on my phone, and I had to turn it off because I needed a timer. That was something else I forgot because I didn't have my splits up, so I struggled to get a timer on my phone to time the minute 1 second for the PAL cards. But I thought I'll just play that safe as well. So if I wasted 4 or 5 more seconds just to make sure that the were actually heated up, it was worth it.
Now we're also curious. Did you use the metronome for the Liquid Infinite?
No, I had the rhythm in my head, and I was thinking I was doing the beats, and I was tapping my foot, and then as soon as he slipped out straight away, then everything just went out the window, and then started chasing. And so I didn't actually use the metronome. I should have had the metronome ready to go, but I didn't. I just thought, well, I've got the rhythm in my head. I don't know. I was trying to practice on the elevators as well, when I could, and I was even messing up the rhythm there. So I think nerves just got the best of us. I never thought they would. I've been in hundreds of races before, not all Metal Gear Solid races, but I've never really been nervous. And then I think it was just because I made such a bad mistake early on, that I started to get nervous and I played really poorly.
Now you're obviously moving on to round 2. Are you planning on changing anything, or
yeah, I'm planning
stick to what you know?
No, I'm playing the game. I'm going to actually play the game. We announced this tournament like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and I took a break at the wrong time, and I haven't played the game for 2 weeks. I played it once in 2 weeks, and then I played it for like an hour. But I was also trying to sort out internet issues and everything, so I wasn't really practicing properly. So the thing that I'm going to change, I'm just going to practice. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to actually get back to try and do PB attempts, because you wouldn't actually know it by getting a 138.08, but I do actually have a 130 in this category. So if for me to be 8 minutes off the pace is pretty disgusting, really.
Yeah, we noticed during the Hind fight that it looked like the Hind got underneath the surface there. What happened?
Yeah, it got under straight away. I think I tried to do the fast phase 1 fight, which worked, and I thought everything was good, but I wasted one of the Stinger missiles, and then I was just checking the Stinger missiles, and as soon as I missed a couple of shots, and then I started moving around, and then I was constantly thinking I'm going to run out of Stinger ammo, so I wanted to move closer to the ammo box, and I knew as soon as you start moving and then you get out of the pattern of shooting him, he's going to move, he's going to go. So what I hoped I would do was just get those shots off, and if he was going to move, that he wouldn't move underneath. I didn't want him to go underneath, but I knew it was either going to be him going underneath or just switching around the map a little bit. But I've never really seen movement like the Hind. If you watch, there was loads of little sharp movements where the Stinger missiles were just missing. And there was just these little sharp movements, and it just seemed like every shot that I took just seemed to miss. So I was constantly checking ammo and everything as well. So I knew once I had that bad fight, I knew that's where I lost the race, really.
Yeah, it looked like Raven also gave you somewhat of a funky path too, didn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't very good. It was it didn't really work out. I didn't really get much luck, but I didn't make any luck for myself, if you know what I mean. I didn't play well enough to deserve good luck or good patterns. So yeah, when Raven went the other way, I just thought, yeah, I deserve that. That's pretty, I wasn't prepared for it, and I was even watching Trombone Chino's run from yesterday, and I was even speaking to Apples in the Discord before, and then we were both saying, why doesn't everybody go for this strat that he's doing? Because instead you take out the possibility of him taking the turn that he did against me. You take out that possibility by aiming straight forward and then left, instead of waiting for him to come down into position. So even though we talked about it, I didn't do it, and then kind of took us by surprise, and I didn't lose too much time on that. Thankfully, I kind of made a quick change in where I was standing, and I managed to get the kill eventually. But I thought that might have been a point where he might have possibly started pulling away even more.
And we had seen Drixq use a pretty interesting strat going through the nuke building where he uses a chaff to distract the guard. Do you know the strat that I'm talking about?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I was going to ask and see if you were going to work that into any future runs. So pretty much going to stick with the run that you have now, or is any changes?
Yeah, I think there was little things like the first mistake that I made was the chaff strat in the first room you enter after the crawl space, and I just mistimed it completely wrong, and then I got an alert, and I thought the best way to do this is just die quickly, and then do it again. And I just thought why did I make that stupid mistake? And then that's what just set us off straight away. And then I was starting to panic and wondering what I was going to do to try and save time. And then I was thinking, should I play it safe or should I try and pull that time back? And then I even had a shaky ocelot as well, which didn't exactly go to plan either. So what I think I need to do is just concentrate on what I know and improve that. And then when I'd start getting good times again, then maybe I'll start implementing some of the newer stuff. I thought I was quite comfortable doing the fast hind strat. I thought that wasn't too bad, but there was I thought if I messed that up, that's gonna be quite bad news, especially in a race, because again I don't know the backup to that. So if I lost my way there, and I didn't pull that off, then I could have just been lost chasing him and then losing even more time as well. So I think it's just get back to basics and actually put together a good run.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to your race coming up here with Roxface. We've got your Twitch channel up here in chat. What can people expect to see you playing on your channel?
Just Metal Gear Solid 1. That's it. That's all I'll be playing. Okay. That's I do play other games, but in terms of just streaming, I'll just be streaming Metal Gear Solid 1. That's all, and just doing PB attempts, and I think that's pretty much all I'll be doing in the near future as well, just to make sure that I actually put in better times.
And one last question before we go. Anybody you want to shout out to?
Yeah, well, the first person who actually got us into the Metal Gear Solid speedrunning community was Tyler. Was the first person to come into Twitch chat and then introduce us to the Discord and tutorials and stuff. And so without him doing that, I wouldn't have been able to, get the world record really, because I would just still be doing just stupid large skips runs, getting 1 hour 45s, and so he introduced us to all of this, and then Plywood as well. Plywood's always been like an encouraging figure who's tried to get us to better me times constantly. So he's always good for competition. And then everyone else is loads of people, Copper Tank and Raichu, and everyone. There's so many people in the MGSR who's helped along the way. So shout outs to everyone. And Slade as well, the godfather of Metal Gear Solid 1. He's the reason why I started doing this at the start.